Hello everyone, my name is Hugo and welcome to my channel. Now, summer is coming up, and if you like to read outside, like I do, whether it's in the park, your garden, forest, whatever, I have a couple of recommendations to do that with. So I will just get into it. The first one I have is Joyland by Stephen King. Joyland is a very underrated book by Stephen King. It doesn't get talked about that much, I think. It's a story about a boy named Devin Jones who gets a summer job in an amusement park called Joyland, and then he hears from colleagues that there once has been a girl murdered there in the haunted house, and there are rumors that her ghost still roams around there. So he tries to investigate it more. It's spooky, but not spooky like The Shining is or like It is, because that's straight up horror. But this is spooky but also emotional, so think more of Green Mile. I would compare it to another book by Stephen King, obviously. So yeah, that was the first one. The second book I have is The Martian by Andy Weir, or Weir. I think Weir? Let's say Weir or Weir. I don't know. This is also a really big book. It's pretty well known. There's a movie of it with Matt Damon. It follows an astronaut named Mark Watney who gets stranded on Mars after a storm forces his crew to evacuate off the planet Mars without him. Everyone assumes he's dead. He's not, however. So he needs to find a way to survive on Mars, which is pretty hard to do, I imagine. But he's a biologist, I think, so he finds a way to grow potatoes there. He finds a way to make water, but he also needs to find a way to contact Earth, NASA, so they actually start up a rescue to rescue him. It's science fiction, but it's like very realistic and it feels possible, so I really like that. It's written in the first person, like in a diary format, which really draws you in, I think, and really makes you connect with Mark Watney. So yeah. The third one I have is Howls Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. Diana Wynne Jones. It's also a famous animated movie by Studio Ghibli. But the book and the movie are very different, I think. Especially the second half. It's just completely different. So, what's it about? The story is about a girl named Sophie Hatter, who is the eldest of 3 sisters, who gets cursed by the Witch of the Waste into an old woman. I think she's normally like 17 or 18, and she gets turned into like 90-year-old woman. Part of the curse is she can't talk about it, so if she meets new people they just assume she's an old woman. So she runs away and tries to find this wizard named Howl and his moving castle. But yeah, because she hopes he can undo the curse, but she can't talk about it, so it's not that easy. So yeah, and then it takes on about that. Just a very chill read, a very easy read. It's also pretty short. So yeah, I think ideal to read outside. Next up, number 4, I have Kafka on Shore by Haruki Murakami. This book it's a Japanese author. You follow 2 different persons. First you have Kafka Tamura, who tries to escape his own destiny, because his father sort of put a curse on him that he would kill him, that Kafka would kill his father and he would sleep with his mother and sister. So yeah, not so nice. So he tries to escape that, and you follow his journey to wherever he's going. He doesn't know either. Then he really loves to read, so he finds this library in the town he arrives in, and the librarian Oshima is very kind to him. He gives him a place to sleep, and it develops further from there. Secondly, you follow Mr. Nakada, who is this old man who is, in his own words, not so very bright. He's not smart, he's simple, but he's happy. He's a happy man. He's he's sort of homeless, but he starts to travel. Don't know why. He doesn't know why. He doesn't know where he's going, but he knows he has to go there for some reason. And you sort of, their stories, so they're completely different persons, and their stories kind of entwine a bit. Mr. Nakada has some pretty good insights in life sometimes, and he can be pretty funny or like sort of eye-opening. So yeah, and because it's like, especially in summer, I like to read like books about road trips or journeys or adventures, and because this is like a constant journey to somewhere, I think it's ideal to read in the summer. Number 5, the last one, I have Watership Down by Richard Adams. Watership Down is obviously a well-known book. It's an old book, it's from the 70s I think, where we follow a group of rabbits who have to flee their native land because of the intrusion of men. So we follow their journey to a mysterious promised land where they face various dangers and enemies. The book is more about the bonds between the different rabbits than it is about the journey, I think, although the journey is pretty fun to read as well. The book gets pretty dark though, so just beware of that. There's also like an old animated movie of it and an old animated television series which I watched as a kid very long ago, and recently Netflix has put out a mini-series, I think, with a pretty decent cast, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know if it's good. But yeah, it's, again, like I said with Kafka on the Shore, it's like you follow a journey, you follow characters in a journey, follow characters in a journey, so I think that's really creative. So those are 5 fiction novels, but I have a 6th book. Actually, it's a non-fiction. It's more philosophy-like, but very easy to read. It's The Tao of Pooh by Benjamin Hoff. Yes. This book follows, it doesn't really follow anyone. You read a conversation between the writer, Benjamin Hoff, and Winnie the Pooh, the famous bear, obviously, created by A.A. Milne. So he tries to explain to Pooh and to the reader what Taoism is, and he does it in and he also explains why Winnie the Pooh is actually a master Taoist. Now, what is Taoism? I'll just read like a small passage in the beginning. What's it about? Asked Pooh, leaning forward and smearing another word. It's about how to stay happy and calm under all circumstances. So it's like a philosophy from China, or an Eastern philosophy, that tries to stay calm, stay happy, no matter what happens. So it's very funny sometimes, it's very light, it's very short, I think it's like 180 pages. I read it in 2 days. It's very wholesome, it's very cute, you learn a lot, and especially if you read Pooh as a kid, the stories of Winnie the Pooh as a kid, or your parents read it to you, it's very nostalgic because there are some passages here, and then he talks about those little stories, so it's very nostalgic, at least it was for me. Those are 6 books. So those are 5 books you can read in the summer, outside in the park or garden, or wherever you like. If you have read any of these, and you want to talk about it, leave a reaction in the comments. If you have another suggestion for me, I would also be happy to read those in the comments. What else am I supposed to say? Subscribe maybe if you want, act like that, and like the video. I think it helps out, I don't know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time, I hope.